Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. A former Kewaskum police officer already facing felony charges accused of sexting a student for several months. He's now facing felonies in Fond du Lac County.
And this time it's several counts of bestiality. It's a disturbing case. We're not really revealing much about the details outlined in those court documents today. Former school officer, 34-year-old Stephen Rosales, is expected to make his initial court appearance tomorrow in Fond du Lac County. Brittany Schmidt joins us live in the studio to explain how investigators learned about this entirely new case against Rosales. Brittany.
Kimmy and Bill, the parents of the girl Rosales is accused of sexting, contacted authorities after finding concerning text messages on her phone. Investigators discovered 9,000 messages between the two, including the exchange of nude photos. During that investigation in Washington County, authorities say they found messages about Rosales and acts of bestiality. Now, according to court documents, Rosales is accused of engaging in sexual contact with a dog on multiple occasions. He is also accused of recording obscene material that depicts the acts. The alleged conduct spans from January of 2020 and to February of this year. Again, Action 2 News is choosing not to describe details documented in that criminal complaint. Now, in that separate case from Washington County, the 34-year-old has now been fired from the Kewaskum Police Department and faces felony charges amid accusations of sexting a female student for months. In the thousands of messages, Rosales suggested having sex in his school office. Rosales and the high school schooler claim they never actually had sex. In a letter sent to Kewaskum High School families, school officials say there is no evidence to suggest Rosales had inappropriate contact with any other student. Rosales told investigators he was under a lot of stress at home due to his wife's high-risk pregnancy. Kewaskum's police chief fired Rosales and hopes to regain the community's trust.
Sometimes you learn things about people you didn't know, and then you just have to react properly and take care of it as quickly as possible. We work really hard to build and keep positive relationships, so we have to rebuild that, and that's my goal now.
Rosales is facing 3 felonies in this case, including sexual misconduct by school staff. His next court date is May 28th. But as we mentioned earlier, Rosales is expected to appear in Fond du Lac County Court tomorrow to face the bestiality charges. We'll be following those developments. Bill?